Marcell Ozuna is one of the best bats available this offseason. But which teams are the best fit for Marcell Ozuna? Let's not waste any time. Let's get into it.
Wake up the dumb bambino and have me face him. Maybe I'll drill him in the ass.
And what is going on, baseball fans? How are we doing tonight? It is a Friday night. Glad to see you all in here. We're at 23 people in the chat right now. What is going on? How are we doing? Alrighty, I'm seeing a few familiar faces. I'm seeing Drew Venny. Seeing AJ Ayala. Faraz Nazir. Jackson is here. What is going on? How are we doing? Darton Jean Delatorre. What is going on? I hope I pronounced that right. Hayden is here. Hayden is here. Yes, I'm seeing some schools are starting to close in Florida, so I wonder if my school will end up closing. So either way, my school is closed for the next week because I'm on Thanksgiving break, and it is a wonderful feeling. And yeah, that's one of the perks of being a teacher is the time off. So I am quite excited about that. But how's everyone doing tonight? For tonight's stream, I'm going to go over my best fits for Marcell Ozuna. These aren't predictions by any means. These are just the teams that I think are the best fits for Marcell Ozuna. Some of you will disagree. Some of you will agree. Some of you will think I'm an idiot, and that's okay. So most of these teams, I think we're all going to agree are good fits, but I'm going to rank them all the way from 10 to number 1. I did Trevor Bauer last night. That stream was actually going pretty well, I thought, until the end. The microphone started to just completely fizz out on me. I don't know what the heck was going on with my microphone last night, but everything seems to be going okay. So if you haven't checked out the Trevor Bauer best fits video, go check that out from last night. It is there. You might want to kind of fast forward through the end because the microphone really started getting pretty bad at the end there. So before tonight, we are going to go over Marcell Ozuna. So let's not waste any time. Let's get this started. At number 10, I have the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, the Blue Jays, to me, are a pretty interesting team for the services of a Marcell Ozuna. The Blue Jays, they are right on the cusp of being a serious contender again. They got a lot of young talent. They brought in Hyun-Jin Ryu last offseason. I think personally the Blue Jays maybe need to focus on more pitching, maybe a bit more for that bullpen. That offense is already pretty good. But if they could add someone like a Marcell Ozuna, I think that would be absolutely amazing for this team. Let me come back to you. Alrighty, so right now, there isn't really a place for a Marcell Ozuna as of right now. You could have Vlad Jr. slide back to third base. He has said he would like to go back to third base. You could then put Tellez back at first instead of DHing. So in that scenario, you could bring in Ozuna as your DH. That is possible. Ozuna is not the best outfielder. He's not terrible by any means, but he's not the most effective outfielder out there. So maybe being a DH could be beneficial for him. But this is kind of the one scenario that I've been thinking of. So there's been a lot of rumors about Francisco Lindor. Maybe the Blue Jays could go really hard after him. You could have Lindor play short. You could have Bichette slide over to third. Now, if you were to trade for a Francisco Lindor, maybe you could put Gurriel Jr. in that trade for a Francisco Lindor. And then if you could bring in a Lindor for, let's say, a Gurriel Jr., that opens up left field for the Blue Jays. And maybe you could have Ozuna slide in just perfectly right there. Could you imagine that lineup with a Francisco Lindor and a Marcell Ozuna in it? Oof. I mean, that scenario is just deadly, in my opinion. The Blue Jays would have one of the best lineups in the game. Now, there's going to have to be, for this to work, you would have to have some pieces move around, but things would have to work out perfectly, in my opinion. Again, if you are going to bring in Marcell Ozuna for a lot of money, I would imagine you want him to play some outfield instead of just being a DH. But what do you all think in the chat? Let me know down below. Do you agree with this kind of a move? I think the best fit would be to trade a Gurriel Jr. to bring in a Lindor, and then you could have Ozuna slide in right into left field. So what do you think about that scenario? Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Give me a thumbs down. Hayden, this is my World Series 2018 hat. So, one of my favorite hats. So, Orioles, is Bryant going to get traded to the Nationals? I don't know. I don't know if Bryant's going to get traded, to be honest. So, but yeah, that's where I have the Blue Jays on this list. Again, I have him in at number 10 because he's not exactly a great fit now. But if the Blue Jays make the necessary moves, he could be a pretty good fit. So, coming in at number 9, I tried not to include them on this list. I couldn't help it, but I mean, it is a fit. At number 9, we have the Boston Red Sox. Now, personally, as a Red Sox fan, I don't think I wouldn't hate this move, but I would understand it. Ozuna would slide in perfectly into left field with Jackie Bradley Jr. becoming a free agent. That now opens center field if they don't bring him back. You could slide Benintendi over to center field, and Marcell Ozuna can just slide in right there to left field. That would be a pretty decent move, especially for the offense. If we go take a look at the offense for the Red Sox, let's take a look here. So right now, the Red Sox offense, I mean, they really felt it last year not having Mookie Betts. You could really feel it as a Red Sox fan. It just didn't feel like that same kind of lineup, like that 2018 offense that the Red Sox had. It just wasn't there anymore. The Red Sox didn't necessarily have a bad offense last year, but it wasn't great either. It was just a bad season all around for the Red Sox. But last year, they ranked 12th offensively. So now, I don't necessarily think you need to bring in Marcell Ozuna. I don't think that's like, oh my gosh, we have to get Marcell Ozuna. But he definitely could bring some offense back to the table with Mookie Betts now in Los Angeles. Another scenario as well, if the Red Sox were to trade away, let's say, a JD Martinez, maybe a team would be interested in bringing him in. That bringing in Ozuna could really help with that. Ozuna could be a DH. He could play some left field. But also, JD Martinez is a free agent after 2022. So if you sign Ozuna for maybe a 4-year deal, now you have Ozuna who could DH for those last couple of years on that kind of a contract. So, again, I don't think the Red Sox necessarily need to do this. I think he would fit in really well in that ballpark. Ozuna is more of a pull kind of a guy. Seeing him hit all those moon shots over the green monster, I think that could be pretty good. He would hit a lot of balls off that monster too, get a lot of extra base hits. So I think it could be a pretty decent match. I wouldn't hate the move, but I don't necessarily think they need to do it. And, with Chaim Bloom, who knows if he is going to spend that kind of money for Marcell Ozuna? I don't know. Again, we haven't really seen all of what Chaim Bloom is all about for this Red Sox team so far. All we've seen really with Chaim Bloom is the fact that he traded away Mookie Betts. He's brought in some more cost-efficient guys. He's plucked some guys out of obscurity like a Nick Pivetta from the Phillies. He's brought in a couple of guys. To me personally, I think he got the best possible package that he could have for Mookie Betts. He got a pretty good season out of Alex Verdugo. So I don't know if Chaim Bloom would go after a Marcell Ozuna. I don't know. But tell me what you think in the chat. Do you think this would be a good move for the Red Sox? Give me a thumbs up if you think this would be a good move. Or give me a thumbs down. Do you not see this as a good fit? What do you think? Hayden gives this a thumbs up. I mean, the more I think about it, I think Ozuna would be pretty fun. In Fenway Park, I think he would be pretty fun to watch in a Red Sox uniform. I don't know though. So again, I don't necessarily think this is the most perfect fit, but I think it's a good fit, and I think it, so. But yeah, Drew, they already have Benintendi, Verdugo. Well, Martinez is more of the DH right now, so right now Benintendi would just slide over to center field, and then you can just put Marcell Ozuna in left, and Martinez would just stay at DH. So, but now if they trade JD Martinez again, you could have Marcell Ozuna do a lot of DHing, and he could play some outfield as well. So, but that's what I think on Marcell Ozuna. I think he would be an okay fit for the Red Sox. So, moving on to number 8, I have the Minnesota Twins. Now, this could actually be a really good fit, in my opinion. The Twins could be much higher on this list if they make one move, and that is Eddie Rosario. Now, you have the non-tender deadline coming up December 2nd. Eddie Rosario could be a non-tender candidate. Why? Because Eddie Rosario, while he can hit for some power, he is not very good at getting on base. He only had a .316 on base percentage last year, so he is a candidate that could be non-tendered by the Twins. Now, he definitely would be more cost efficient than a Marcell Ozuna, but if the Twins really want to kind of put or take a step up with the offense, you could non-tender Eddie Rosario, and you could bring in someone like a Marcell Ozuna for left field. Could you imagine that middle of the order? Could you imagine that middle of the order with a Marcell Ozuna, a Josh Donaldson, and if you brought back Nelson Cruz? That would be a deadly middle of the order. I'm just saying, I do like Eddie Rosario. I like the power, but the on base, again, only a .316 on base percentage. I'm not a big fan of that. He tends to strike out a bit too. So I think Ozuna would be an upgrade in left field. I think he could be a pretty good fit for the Twins. That's just my opinion. Tell me what you think down below in the chat. What do you think? Do you think this could be a good fit? I see Jose with a thumbs up. But now I'm seeing a bunch of thumbs down, Jose. What are you saying here? I don't know. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't know what you're saying. Orioles with the thumbs downs. Hayden with the thumbs ups. Jesse Burns. I think the Twins, if you were to pick between, like, let's say a Trevor Bauer and a Marcell Ozuna, I think you should go after a Trevor Bauer instead. I think they definitely need more of a front line kind of a guy for that rotation. But you can't deny, if they brought back Nelson Cruz and Marcell Ozuna, you got Josh Donaldson, Marcell Ozuna, and Nelson Cruz in the middle of that order. I mean, come on. That's pretty good if you ask me. So I'm seeing some thumbs ups. I'm seeing some thumbs down. So, yeah. Okay. Moving on to number 7. I have the New York Mets. Now, the New York Mets, it's very interesting lately with the Mets, especially with Robinson Cano being suspended for this season. This really opens up a lot of possibilities for the Mets. The Mets now, they have someone like a Jeff McNeil who could slide over to second base, and now that would open up a spot in that outfield. I know they have a Dominic Smith. I know they have him who could just slide into left field just like that, but I'm sorry, but Dominic Smith, he's no Marcell Ozuna. I know Smith is a lot younger and he would be cheaper, but if you have a chance to maybe bring in a Marcell Ozuna, that offense would be nasty for the New York Mets. It really would. I think the Mets need to focus more on the bullpen. I think they need to focus more on defense, and that's another thing where maybe Marcell Ozuna is not really going to help out all that much for the Mets, at least on the defensive side. But for the offense, Marcell Ozuna could really be a banger in that lineup. I mean, with the Mets, they had the third best offense last year. And then if you add in someone like a Marcell Ozuna, oh my goodness, or third best offense in left field last year. So, or the production that they got out of the players they had that played left field, they ranked third overall. Marcell Ozuna would be, in my opinion, it would make it even that much better. So, I think the Mets could be a pretty decent option for Marcell Ozuna's services. So tell me what you think in the chat down below. Do you think Marcell Ozuna would be a good fit with the New York Mets? I personally think the Mets need to kind of look elsewhere, but again, that would be a pretty good addition for that lineup. So I'm seeing some thumbs ups. I'm seeing some thumbs downs. So I wonder what Giraffe Neck Mark would think of this move. I don't think it would be a bad move by any means. It would really establish the Mets as, you know what, we're here to contend, we're here to win. So Marcell Ozuna, I think, could be a pretty decent addition for this lineup. So moving on to number 5. Now we're going to get into our top 5. So here we go. Coming in at number 5, I have the Cincinnati Reds. Now the Reds, they were in on Marcell Ozuna last offseason. They were really trying hard for Marcell Ozuna, and the Reds came up short there. But the Reds, as we all saw in the playoffs against the Braves, the Reds really need some offense. They need offense. Look what happened in that first round against the Braves in that wild card round. They really lacked offense. They had the pitching, but they just had no guys in that lineup at all. They only ranked 23rd in offense last season. Now, the problem with this is, while the offense was not very good, if you add in an Ozuna to improve that offense, well, now you kind of got some not great defense on the corners. You would have Castellanos in right and Ozuna in left. That's not great defense if you ask me. You would definitely be taking a hit defensively there, but the offense, that would be huge. Now, this really changes if the National League does get the designated hitter. Now that changes up a lot of things. Now you could have Ozuna and Castellanos. They could rotate in and out of that DH spot, so that would allow the Reds to still have some good defense out in left field and right field as well. So they would be able to have a lot more flexibility that way. So the Reds, that's why they're only here at number 5 for me, because if they do get the DH, I think the Reds would be an even better fit if they had a designated hitter. So Marcell Ozuna, though, you can't deny the fact that he would really improve that offense for the Cincinnati Reds. So tell me down below in the comments, what do you think? Do you think this would be a good move? I saw some thumbs up. I see Toby is giving it a thumbs down. Hayden thinks this would be a great fit. Rail fan Mike's Gaming with the thumbs up. He would love this move. Jose with the thumbs down. Orioles 2041 World Champions with the thumbs down. So either way, I don't think we can all deny the fact that he definitely would improve that offense, which I thought it was kind of surprising. I thought the Reds were going to have a pretty good offense last season. So that ended up not really being the case all that much, only ranked 23rd. So, but that is where I have that is the team I have for number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have the Houston Astros. Now, the Houston Astros, this could be a really interesting fit. The Astros, they got Michael Brantley, who's a free agent now. They got George Springer, who's a free agent now. They are going to need to fill in that spot in left field. And I know they have Yordan Alvarez. He should be back next year. But with Yordan Alvarez, he was having a lot of injury problems this past year. Having Alvarez, and if you bring in an Ozuna can slide over to left field, or he could move into left field, and you can have Alvarez just stay at DH. And that would be a really good fit for that offense, especially if they lose someone like a George Springer, which it seems like that's probably going to be likely. You're probably going to see George Springer, at least in my opinion, unless the Astros make a crazy late push for George Springer to try and bring him back. I don't think you're going to see George Springer back in Houston. Having Ozuna, George Springer is a bit of a different player, but Ozuna, he is really going to bring some offense. And if they lose Springer, that would really lighten the blow on a Springer loss. So Ozuna, I think, could be a pretty good fit in Houston. And now if you get, guys that have bounce back years, if you can have Bregman have a bounce back year, if you can have Altuve bounce back, you could really have a pretty decent lineup with Ozuna in Houston. Now I know we're all gonna poke at the Astros for the cheating. Who knows if Ozuna would end up wanting to sign there? That's another thing I think a lot of people don't really seem to think about with the Astros is, are players, how is this going to affect them in free agency, the whole cheating scandal? Are players going to want to go there? However, if the Astros, if they can pull off some better offers than other teams, I think you could maybe see Ozuna in Houston. So give me a thumbs up in the chat if you think this would be a good move. I'm actually seeing a lot of thumbs up here. I'm seeing some thumbs down. But that is where I am with my fourth best fit. So I'm seeing Jonathan with a thumbs up, Orioles with a thumbs up. Jose is saying no. Jose, I don't think I've seen many thumbs up from you tonight, my friend. I gotta get one thumbs up from you tonight. Hopefully I can. But alrighty, here we go. Getting into the top three now. Here we go. At number three, I'm going to go with a fun one here. I think a lot of you might disagree with this one. However, I think this would be a really fun fit. I think this would be awesome. Marcell Ozuna going back to the Marlins. Now, this most likely I don't think is going to happen, but I can't deny the fact that Marcell Ozuna would be awesome with the Marlins. That offense, putting it into that lineup, you would have a really good middle of the order bat with the Marlins right there. Oh my, this would really accelerate the process for the Marlins. They're trying to get back into contention. I'm thinking, they were a bit of a surprise this past season, but you can't deny the fact that the Marlins would not welcome that kind of a bat into that lineup. And now you have a Starling Marte in there, Starling Marte and Marcell Ozuna. That would really help that lineup a lot. The Marlins last year, they only ranked 26 in offense last season. And you saw when they faced a good team like the Braves, they got annihilated by that team. It was like it was no match in the playoffs. They only ranked 25th in left field production last year in offensive production. So Marcell Ozuna would really help this Marlins lineup. He would give a good veteran presence in that lineup. The Marlins are an up-and-coming team. They don't really have an outfielder that's like really ready to kind of step in. Marcell Ozuna would be huge, in my opinion, for this Marlins team. And I think it would be really fun. Have him go back to Miami. It would kind of give Miami a bit of juice. Now, are they going to want to spend that money? I don't know. I'm not really sure what's going on when it comes to Miami's financial situation. I'm kind of guessing they're going to lean towards not spending a lot of money, but he could be a pretty good bat in that lineup. So I'm seeing a good mix of thumbs ups here. I'm seeing Jose got a thumbs up. All right, there we go. Landon with the thumbs up. Jake likes this move. Oh, but Jose gave the thumbs down. Or no, he gave the thumbs up. Where is Jose on this situation or with this decision? I don't know. But alrighty, so that is who I have for number 3. I think the Marlins could be a pretty good fit. It would definitely accelerate that process. You can't deny that. Here we go. At number 2, I have the Washington Nationals. I think this would be a tremendous fit for Marcell Ozuna. And here's a couple of reasons why. The Nationals, they really missed Anthony Rendon last season. The Nationals, they really, really missed that bat. They missed that on-base production from Marcell Ozuna last year, from Anthony Rendon last year. But if you can bring in a guy like Marcell Ozuna to slide into left field, you would have to move Juan Soto over to right. I know Juan Soto doesn't have the best defensive numbers, but he was starting to play some right field at the end of last season. So you could see a Juan Soto out in right field and Marcell Ozuna out in left. Now, I don't know how overall the defense is going to do, but I think Juan Soto is a pretty good outfielder. You're going to get the offense from Juan Soto, but could you imagine Juan Soto and Marcell Ozuna in the middle of that lineup? That would be nuts. That would completely revitalize that Nationals lineup. And you got Trey Turner as well. I mean, there would be some good potential in that lineup for that Nationals team. You get a healthy Steven Strasburg back next year, another year of Max Scherzer, Patrick Corbin. I think you could see a really competitive Nationals team. I think he would be a great fit with the Nationals. That's just my opinion. Tell me what you think down below. I'm actually seeing some thumbs ups here. I'm seeing some thumbs downs. I'm kind of liking this tonight. I'm seeing a good mix of thumbs ups and thumbs downs. So it is good to see you guys involved with hitting either a thumbs up or a thumbs down. But here we go. At number 1, Marcell Ozuna. Where would be the best fit for Marcell Ozuna? At number 1, I'm going with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Just kidding. I'm going with the Atlanta Braves. So the Atlanta Braves right now, in my opinion, are just simply the best fit for Marcell Ozuna. He had his best season with the Braves last year. They had just such a good thing going with that offense. Marcell Ozuna fit perfectly with that lineup. He looked like he was having a bunch of fun. Just look at this picture of him right here. Look at that picture. Look how happy he looks. He was happy with the Braves last year. He was churning the stirring the pot kind of thing all year. He was having a lot of fun with that Braves team last year. And look how close the Braves got to the World Series last year. They were this close. They were one win away from getting to the World Series. They were that close, and Marcell Ozuna was right in the middle of that. If they just shore up that pitching, if they can keep that bullpen solid, that Braves team could be a World Series team. And I mean, I think the Braves, honestly, what the Braves end up doing is they end up paying around anywhere from like 10 to like 20 million for players per year. They don't really go that crazy when it comes to contracts. I think Marcell Ozuna, he fits kind of into what he's going to make. I would say he's probably going to make anywhere from like 18 to like, I don't know, 22 million. I could honestly see like a 4-year, $88 million contract for Marcell Ozuna. I think he fits right into where the Braves kind of like to pay guys. So I think it's a good fit. I just think, to me, it's the best fit possible for Marcell Ozuna. He just looked like he was having a great time. I think he found a home for the Braves, with the Braves last year. And, I mean, I'm just saying, he would be a great fit if he were not to go back to the Braves. Personally, I think the Nationals right there in that National League East could be a really good fit for him as well. The Marlins, I think that would be a lot of fun to see him play with the Marlins. I think the Astros would really benefit. I mean, heck, even my Red Sox, that could be fun to watch. There's a lot of places Marcell Ozuna can go. But that is just my opinion. Tell me what you think down below in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of thumbs ups here. I think we're all going to, for the most part, agree that Marcell Ozuna, his best fit is probably with the Braves. I think most of us would say Marcell Ozuna on the Braves is the best spot. But Hayden, as a Mets fan, is not liking that one very much. So, but everyone, I want you to thank you again for coming out tonight. 50 people in the chat right now. That is great to see. We are inching closer to 4,000 subscribers. And I actually just realized we are approaching the 1-year anniversary of this channel, which is December 10th. So we are closing in on the 1-year anniversary. If we could get to 4,000 subscribers within 1 year, holy crap, what a year that would be for this channel. That would be amazing. So if you are looking for more baseball content, hey, consider subscribing down below. I'm not saying you got to subscribe, but if you are looking for more baseball news, hit that subscribe button, and we'll be talking baseball here all the time. Before I get out of here, everyone, if you can, hit that thumbs up for me. It really goes a long way. So everyone, I will be here on Monday. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be doing on Monday. I'm actually liking these little best fit videos. I might do one for George Springer on Monday. So if it's not the best fits for George Springer, it's going to be some baseball news. There's not really any baseball news in the past couple of days. There was some stuff going on with the Rule 5 draft. So definitely take a look at that on MLB Trade Rumors. they're always updating stuff. I got like 10 notifications from MLB trade rumors earlier. So, but everyone, thank you again for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you next time.